Hello, I'm Caede, your guide. Today we are in Uji, about 30 minutes by local train from Kyoto Station. Let's visit the Byodo-in temple together, one of UNESCO's World Heritage Sites. First and foremost, Uji is famous for its high-quality tea production. In the Edo period, tea leaves produced in Uji were even offered to the Tokugawa shogunate. Interestingly, there is a post box at the station in the shape of a tea urn that was used to store and transport tea leaves. On the road from the station to the Byodo-in, there are many tea shops along the approach, and you can smell the delicious aroma of tea everywhere. There are many opportunities to buy tea leaves as well as sweets made from tea. If you are Japanese, you have probably heard of this place at least once because it is the setting of Uji Jujo in the tale of Genji, a classic story that you learn about in school. The tale of Genji is a long novel written by Murasaki Shikibu, a courtesan from the early 11th century, which was the mid-Heian period. The main character, Hikaru Genji, was born as a son of an emperor, and he possessed an unparalleled beauty and talent. In modern words, he is a bit of a playboy. Who says I admire him? The story is about a playboy who falls in love with various women, is rejected, dates two ladies at once, and then enjoys his life until his decline. That sounds quite intriguing, don't you think? Many authors have translated the story into modern Japanese and manga. So I have read it many times and I love it each time. The novel has also been translated into over 20 languages. So if you are interested, look for it. The last 10 chapters are set here in Uji. That's why there is a statue of Murasaki Shikibu here. Amazing that this story was written over 1,000 years ago and still resonates today. Many villas of aristocrats were built in Uji since the early Heian period. There also used to be a villa of a noble family in the location where the Byodo-in is now, which is said to have served as a model for the main character's house in the tale of Genji. Later, in 1052, Fujiwara no Yorimichi converted the villa into a temple and founded the Byodo-in. At the time of the story, 2,000 years had passed since the Buddha passed away, and it was believed that the world could no longer be saved by his teachings. From Kyoto's point of view, maybe they thought of the Uji River that flows nearby as a river that separates this world from heaven. So they created what the aristocrats thought of as heaven, the pure land of paradise, on the other side of the Uji River. This is a place where the Byodo-in temple stands. The Byodo-in is especially famous for the Hodo, or Phoenix Hall. It is called Hodo because of its beauty, which resembles the spread wings of the legendary Ho or Phoenix, a sacred bird in Chinese mythology. Modeled after a palace in the pure land of paradise, the Hodo is even depicted on the back of the 10-yen coin. The Hodo is clearly reflected in the Ajike pond in front of the hall. It is really a beautiful view, isn't it? The official name of the Hodo is Amida-do, after the golden statue of Amida Nyorai enshrined inside. The wooden statue of Amida Nyorai was made in 1053 when the Amida Hall was built. Amida Nyorai is the master of the paradise or heaven, and his role is to come and greet the deceased. 52 statues of Unchu Kyo Bosatsu, also made around the same time, surround the Amida Nyorai statue. All 52 statues are different, some holding musical instruments, some with their palms together, some dancing. It seems that when the temple was built, the statues were decorated with gorgeous colors on the lacquer. What a beautiful place it must have been! How enjoyable it must have been to visit for the aristocrats of the time who thought it was a place of paradise. Currently, half of the sculptures, 26 of them, are on display in the Hoshokan next door, so you can see them up close. In recent years, during restoration, graffiti was discovered by the people who were working here at the time. It seems that all of those drawings depicted the appeals of the common people, and the common people who suffered in pain and are running away barefoot. In the Heian period, the aristocrats may have been pursuing their own desires while not caring about the common people. A pair of phoenixes is placed on the roof of the Hodo. An image of the phoenix is also displayed on the back of the current 10,000 yen bill. The one on the roof is actually a replica, and the original phoenixes are displayed in the Hoshokan next door. The phoenixes were made in 1053 and are designated as national treasures. So they are in the building now, and you can look at them from up close. There's also a phoenix on the roof of the Kinkakuji Temple, but the Byodo-in was the first building in Japan to have a phoenix on its roof. Be sure to visit the Hoshokan Museum next to the Hodo. You can see the Unchu Kyo Bosatsu from nearby, the phoenixes, and the temple bell, all of which are designated as national treasures. You can also see a computer-generated reproduction of the interior of the Hodo as it was when it was first built. There's also a museum store with a wide selection of goods. There were many other buildings and Buddhist statues at the Byodo-in at the time of its founding, but they were lost in repeated wars, and the Hodo is the only one that remains. It is a miracle that a building from the early 11th century still survives. Think about this for a moment as you tour the wonderful Byodo-in. That it is the fruit of the blood and sweat of many nameless people who died under stones and logs during its construction. I'm sure the same thing happened all over the world. On the opposite side of the Byodo-in, across the Uji River, is another World Heritage Site, the Ujigami Shrine. We don't know by whom or when this secluded shrine was built, but the main hall, that was designated as a national treasure was built in 1060. The worship hall dates back to around 1215, making it the oldest existing shrine building in Japan. If you want to take a rest from all that walking, be sure to try some of the uji tea and sweets.